What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Welcome back to the 1025 podcast. This is episode 3. I'm Jordan along with Achonti and Kristen. And in this episode, we got Kristen being our moderator. So, Kristen.
Hi. All right, so today we're talking about colorism, mainly the topics of skin bleaching and light skin privilege in choosing actors. All right, so most people skin bleach generally just to become whiter or to become the society's ideal. And no one really talks about the long-term effects of it. Like, you can age quicker, you can get skin cancer, and your skin becomes so thin, it becomes so sensitive to everything.
Yeah. And, well, you can go, Achonti.
Were you going to say, Jordan? Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, damn. I was about to say, earlier today, we was watching some videos of people in Jamaica doing skin bleaching. And I just say that one more time.
Vibes Cartel.
Yeah, him. He was talking. It kind of came off as like, in my eyes, people were very insecure about their natural, tone of skin. I kind of connect that with, of course, racism and how, the color of your skin, you are easily judged in society. But I also kind of think, related to now with everything that's going on with the world, with the George Floyd situation, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, a lot of people feel insecure in their own skin and feeling like maybe if I was another skin tone, then this stuff wouldn't be happening to me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I wasn't African American and I was Caucasian, this wouldn't be happening to me. Achonti, what were you about to say?
And it's even out of the realm of being an African American. One thing I noticed is that this skin bleaching thing is international and tends to affect more people living in Africa and in the Caribbean, because like the aftermath of imperialism in those places was just absolutely terrible, and it was really related to skin. I know that in the video that they use African black soap to lighten their skin too.
They were using. No, I don't think so.
Because I know in Jamaica they do that too. It's more of a I forgot exactly. It's like it has a different composition to it, but they do use that. But of course, there's like so many skin bleaching creams and oils and stuff like that. The list just could go on and on.
Yeah, and I believe. Sorry to cut you off. But I believe that in the video they were using a certain type of like green mixed in with hydrogen peroxide to light.
Okay, yeah. That's exactly, yeah. But one thing I have noticed is that whenever I do watch videos like this, they tend to focus especially on like Nigeria's skin bleaching problem, because that is like the hot hub for where these products are coming from and where they're going in. And, I don't really know very much about Nigerian culture, but like from what I see, I know they do this in India too, like on all the packages. Well, they do it in America and all the packages. It's just this kind of Eurocentric theme going. The person will still be of, their nationality, but just their features are very European. So growing up and you constantly see images like that, of course, when you get old enough, or of course, when your auntie or someone offers it to you, you're going to be like, yes, I want to bleach my skin because I just don't feel good enough. And it's not just, especially in Nigeria, and Jamaica, it's not just a female thing. It's just all around. Everybody wants to do it.
Right.
So, and like what Jordan was saying, people feel uncomfortable in their skin. Not only with everything that's going on, feeling like their sable skin is just this veil over them that's keeping them from really experiencing an equal way of living, but also at the same time, like people understand that they're more privileged by, changing their appearance to look lighter. They understand that they get privilege from that.
Yeah. And this issue even happens in other countries like Asia. I remember a few years ago, I was watching this commercial where I believe it was 2 actors, right? One actor skin was got very dark, very black, you know what I'm saying? And then another one was very pale, very, white. And it was kind of an advert for this type of pill. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called Snow or something, where you take this and you're automatically becoming more lighter. Your pigmentation is less darker and more bright and vibrant as they, market it as. And I think if that advertisement was marketed here in America, I feel like there would be a lot of young kids looking at that and they would feel ashamed, like I said, and even Achonti said, they would feel ashamed of being Black. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, they chant around, I'm Black and I'm proud, I'm Black and I'm proud. But some people are just like, why is my skin, being the cause of all this pain and trials and tribulations that my people go through? People who look like me go through on a day-to-day basis for the past 400 years,
Yeah. It's just the long-term effects of imperialism, truly. I know I always talk about that, but I feel like a lot of the disparities that we face, especially of how we look, not necessarily a shame, but just, wanting to not have to go through the same, disparities as being a Black or ethnic person. So you look to that, you look to changing your appearance to fit in, because that's literally the first thing people see. It doesn't really matter what your background is. The first thing you are is Black.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't even matter the content of your character. And sorry if I cut you off, Kristen. It doesn't even matter the content of your character anymore. It's just they see this and it's like they automatically think negatively of you,
Yeah. And about what you were saying with the advertisements, it might not be phase 4 in America or as aggressive as it is in places like Africa and Asia, but it's very subliminal. I mean, we were talking about in the last episode how deeply rooted colorism is in media. When you have all these TV shows that keep on showing the same Black features, like light skin, loose hair, all that stuff, it's subliminal. It's advertisement. It's advertisement through entertainment.
Right.
Even with television shows.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly, Kristen.
Because Nickelodeon, most Netflix shows don't really have any representation of darker skinned women and men.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I remember Kenya Barris, the creator of Blackish, created a new show called Black AF, and the main controversy was, okay, there's not a lot of there's probably no dark skinned people in that show. It's usually fair skin or lighter skin type of people. It's like, okay, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, y'all do know that there's this other, there are more Black people, Black ladies as well that aren't light skinned, that don't have the loose hair like Kristen said, they have the afro. And I'm just thinking to myself, is it because y'all don't think that this face is marketable? Y'all get what I'm saying? Because I even think of this with the pop singer Normani from Fifth Harmony. A lot of people market her up to being, oh, she's the next Beyonce, and oh, she's the next, leading force. But it's like people saying, okay, her team trying to sabotage her. Because like compared to like Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, it's like, okay, they being successful and stuff. Why isn't she being successful? Colorism. Yeah. Which in my eyes, colorism is, I think Kanye West said this, is racism's daughter. It's like
essentially.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it even comes from the chattel hierarchies that existed during slavery. I mean, we hear the story of like the tragic mulatto and like all these different places to be on like chattel hierarchy. You guys know what I'm talking about? And I feel like that is just, we see it in continuous forms. I mean, you really have to get with history, because all this is just the aftermath of literally everything that's happened over the past like 200 years. And I feel like within our own community, we have to fix it for ourselves. You have to champion for these young women to get the roles that you want to see them in. I mean, I know everyone was kind of mad, that Zoe, we talked about Zoe Saldana, the Zoe Saldana thing in the last.
Yeah, in the first.
Yeah, you have to champion for these people. You have to champion for the next Lupita. You have to champion for Normani. You have to do these things. Yeah. I understand it can be really intense sometimes, like Black Twitter goes off, but it's for good reason. Children need to see positive reaffirmations of themselves. Absolutely. Like, why can't you cast a dark-skinned girl with traditional features? And it doesn't even have to be traditional. Why can't we have variety? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Exactly. We need to see ourselves being successful.
Yeah.
Exactly, because I'm really tired of seeing movies where Black people are painted as thugs and gangsters and all that. Give us positive images while also representing the dark skinned Black girl, the dark skinned Black man, and not be degrading to their character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
And next, we're going to talk about Chadwick Boseman's death and how it affected all of us.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you want to start, Kristen? Did you have any personal statements you wanted to make?
I actually kind of want y'all to speak first.
Okay.
All right. Well, the first time I'd ever seen him was in a movie called 42, which is about the first African American baseball player, or like that at least went to the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first interaction with him in film and everything. And then of course with Black Panther. Overall, it just really, I mean, 2020's been crazy, but it was just really startling to see that he was, hiding his struggle with cancer. But I also wanted to talk about the fact that whenever it came out, people were like, do you remember when he started to lose weight and people were in his Instagram comments like, just on him for that? And like we were saying before, celebrities deserve duality. They deserve to be able to separate their personal life from the camera. So I think that's one thing we kind of have to get with. Like people were just really just not liking the fact that he was losing so much weight, but you really never know what battle someone is going through. So that's really toxic. That's toxic to me. I understand, like I said before, we're so used to seeing things 24/7, and people wanted an explanation for why he was losing more weight. Maybe it was for a role, maybe it was for this or that. But no, he chose to keep his personal life separate, and I mean that's pretty much all. Yeah. And I think he deserved to be able to have that, keeping things separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it was truly devastating. Yeah. What are you gonna say, Jordan?
I would say, similar to you, I first knew of Chadwick Boseman in 42 when he played Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
And then again, once again, when he played James Brown in Get On Up. I was thinking to myself, okay, this guy really, he has so much, not only charisma and stage presence, he really is, I feel like he could have been the next iteration of a leading Black man in entertainment, in film. Because when I was growing up, the only two leading Black men who were in action movies and stuff was if you didn't have Denzel Washington or Will Smith, then you're really not gonna profit, basically. And then when he was announced, I think this was back in 2014 as Black Panther, I was like, King T'Challa, I was like, okay, they got something right here because this dude can really act. And then Black Panther came out, a cultural phenomenon in pop culture. And the fact that young kids can grow up and see, hey, this dude looks just like me, they have their own Black superhero and, of course, female superheroes in that movie. I find that very inspiring, because, when I was growing up, and of course all of us were growing up, we were, watching Spider-Man and Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all these characters who didn't look like us, Now, in 2018, the next generation, they could be like, man, when I was growing up with Black Panther and, that event that happened. And the fact that he was hiding his secret for 4 years, and the fact that he was helping other kids, fight their battles with cancer, I just find that truly, inspiring. And me personally, I hope to be on, he's the type of guy who I aspire to be one day, that very influential and inspiring figure in not only Black community, but in entertainment. And the lasting impact that he had on people was amazing,
Exactly. But I first saw him in 42 as well. And I saw him in Black Panther. And I used to read the comics as well. Yeah. So seeing him on the big screen and everything was just awe-inspiring.
Absolutely.
And it was very sad when he died because, like, he's pretty much a legend to me, at least. So.
And he was also relatively young too. He was about 43, which I know to some people they be like, "Oh, Jordan, this man old." Nah, 40 is pretty young. Kobe was 41, I think, when he passed away. R.I.P. to them both. And when the news found out that he passed away, a lot of people were automatically jumping on the board of, okay, what are they going to do with Black Panther 2? What are they going to do with Black Panther 3? I'm like, can y'all just like forget that, like leave that to the side real quick and just, mourn the fact that this man passed away, lost his life to cancer. And the fact that cancer is still a dominant force in tearing many people apart, even with COVID.
Leading cause of death.
Absolutely. Even with COVID-19 still ravaging the planet, you just mourn this man,
Yeah. And I liked what both of you said about, really being inspired by seeing such a strong male Black lead in the cinema.
Yeah.
Because that just goes back into us saying how you need to see yourself. You need to see some sort of version of yourself on the big screen, I guess, or just in entertainment in general. So the very fact that you guys just reaffirmed that is pretty amazing. And, Twitter did and Instagram, like all the hashtags and stuff. So like you said, I think he was like a very big force on the last leg of this decade. I mean, even throughout the past decade. Like you said, that James Brown movie 42 and just a lot of the other little things he did. He inspired somebody and he made someone feel better in their own skin.
Absolutely. And he also starred in other films such as, I believe, the last film that he was in. Of course, he has like more projects he was working on, but the last film he did was Defy Bloods from Spike Lee. And you can just tell that this man was just like a train, like I've said, a force to be reckoned with, Like, I feel like he could go toe-to-toe with a Denzel Washington in a movie. And even most recently, I watched like a short film that he did. It was really like a critical thinking instructional video that he did. It was called Love is a Fallacy. And this is back from like 2013 or whatever. And you can just tell that this man had the potential. Like, his potential was like so like off the charts. And you just interested in seeing, what is this dude gonna do next? And I really admire him for that. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
All right, and our next topic is actually inclusivity on television. So, when was y'all's first time seeing yourself on television?
Well, I first saw what I aspired to be on television with the Black sitcom called Living Single. Every single last woman in that TV show, I saw that could have been a version of myself, and I like to write. So it was awesome that Queen Latifah played the character that owned her own journal and newspaper. So that was one of the first times that I saw what could have been a version of me on television, a positive version of me.
I would say the first time I saw myself on TV in a positive light would be the TV show The Proud Family with Penny's dad, Oscar. And I was thinking to myself, okay, this dude, he has a beautiful wife, 3 kids, his mom is kind of crazy. And it's just like, this feels genuine. It feels not violent. They're not taking place in the hood, because there were other shows I grew up with, like The Boondocks, that kind of gave you a real life portrayal, even though it was more, how can I say this, fantastical, a real life portrayal in the Black experience. So yeah, I would say The Proud Family. And it just made me feel good to be Black.
The Proud Family was mine too. And I absolutely loved Penny Proud. Like, I wanted to be her and everything. I think it's good to see a positive representation of ourselves within media.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
Very important.
What are you about to say?
No, I was about to say it's very important. What are you about to say?
Yeah. I was saying, especially growing up, when were you guys first introduced to queer characters? or characters that didn't fall in line with the normative sexual representation?
I would say when I believe I was like 13 when I first, experienced that type of character. I don't know what show was. No, I think it was Modern Family. I think.
Oh, yeah, okay. The ABC show?
Yeah, the ABC show Modern Family.
I think mine was Good Luck Charlie. When they actually had the gay parents on there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine was Will and Grace, and as I got older, a couple of the characters on that show were like gay and bisexual. But as I grew older, I started to realize that tokenism, especially like in the Black community in media, but tokenism and like for the queer community is like very rampant. You see the same reiteration of like the flamboyant gay character, or like different reiterations of like the lesbian, like the typical lesbian. So just how we're trying to, for me personally, I think we need proper representation. Not even representation. We need to normalize being queer in media and just not having these archetypal characters. I know a lot of people don't feel that way. But do you guys see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I see what you're saying. Because even goes back to Kristen. Goes back to tokenism. Like in horror movies, we got the token Black guy, the blonde white chick that loves partying and drinking and all that. Every horror movie, in my opinion, copies like a similar formula.
Yeah.
What are you about to say, Kristen?
But I see what you were saying. We need to stop playing off of stereotypes and actually portray real people and real personalities.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's just something that I hope to see kind of change over the next 5 years, and like with entertainment, I guess, because just everyone doesn't necessarily deserve a slice of the pie, but we need to build integrous characters on TV. We have to stop allowing people to like fall in nooks and crannies of like the typical character. We have to build characters, not just like keep recycling the same thing over and over again, because that's just what people are going to expect, like that version of a person to be like. Like some people are first introduced to Black culture through media. I mean, that's what a lot of people are first introduced to different forms of culture is through media. So that's where a lot of people's, indifferences with the Black community could have first derived from. That's where a lot of people's expectations of Black people are going to derive from. So I think how we're doing this, what we're pushing for in the Black community also needs to be an LGBTQ fight as well for proper representation.
Definitely. I think in the next 5 years, entertainment is gonna really evolve more than how it was like 20 years ago in the past. I don't feel like we're gonna be getting those token characters in a lot of our TV shows, because even when it comes to like, I would say Black women, like if you're a Black girl, you're either the best friend of the main character, who will most likely be white, and
quirky side character.
Yeah, the sidekick, give them advice and all of that.
The mammy, basically.
Basically, yeah, or the magical mystical Negro in any horror movie. I don't feel those tropes. I feel like those tropes are not going to exist. I'm not going to say exist. They're not going to be as prevalent as they were back in the day, basically.
Yeah, and that just comes with a new legion of writers. I guess especially, the whole Tyler Perry thing happened, and we realized what goes wrong when we don't incorporate, a variety of writers in the writing room, the boardroom. That's why it's so important to have people from different backgrounds and like all these institutions, because it gives you a new face, it gives you a new perspective on things, rather than just recycling the same tired old version of a Black woman over and over again, or a gay character, a queer character.
Yeah, because I think on Instagram he posted a video, Tyler Perry, where he writes all of his scripts. He doesn't hire writers. He doesn't do none of that. And he said work ethic. He was trying to brag, being like work ethic, even though I admire what he was doing, because like when he opened that studio and like Oprah, Beyonce, Jay-Z, all of them came down, I was like, okay, that's great. That's great that he does that. But then again, saying that you write your own stuff, even though a lot of his subject matter is very recycled, like Achonti said, has those very stereotypical depictions of Black people. I was like, dude, you kind of need more help. You need more help. Like, not kind of, you really do. You need more new writers and to give you a fresh look on the Black experience instead of the stuff that you were grown up with 20, 30, 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, as like the next generation of writers and creatives come in, obviously things are going to evolve, obviously. But like I said before, we kind of have to champion for, for this space, for these new spaces, I guess, and for proper representation.
Right.
Diverse representation.
And our next topic is actually political correctness. Do you believe it's wrong or right?
I believe political correctness can be extreme to some extent, but I believe that it's very necessary. And sometimes, political correctness can be defined as using language that is mindful to people that are marginalized. Just being aware of the fact that there are certain things in language and, just microaggressions that is just unfair to use around these people. So people make fun of being politically correct all the time because I believe that having a safe space is just really, needing a safe space is just really childish, I guess. But it just goes back into these institutions have been built to be racist, have been built to be sexist. So when we as a society try and incorporate fairness, I think it's healthy for all of us. But to an extent, it's toxic sometimes. What are you about to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with Achonti, everything that she said, because these institutions, this society was built on racism, and I do agree with the childish
sexism and
sexist, all of that. I agree with you saying it is childish because when we try to break those barriers, when we try to, kind of destroy the stereotype of, what Black men do, what Black women do, women in general, we're always kind of characterized as, oh, this dude is like anti such and such and feminist and all that. And it's just like, no, we're just trying to inform you on something, but still, let's be unified and work together to make a difference.
Yeah. When we're in a society where labels mean so much, I guess you have to we work hard to destroy the ones that keep people inside of a box. So I personally think, political correctness in real life is very healthy because it spawns conversations and groups of friends about why what a person said was wrong. But when we're talking about political correctness and, in the realm of the internet, people are off the chain these days. And I feel like we're trying to re-educate people, but at the same time, people are pushed away from the fact because it's so obliterating sometimes. Just like you say one wrong thing, and here comes cancel culture. You're shut the fuck down.
Absolutely.
But in the realm of local communities, yes, it's healthy. It's very healthy. It's necessary.
Yeah, I like how you brought up cancel culture because anytime somebody says something that's out of pocket to everyone else, is like, oh, we gotta cancel that person. Screw this person. Their career can go burn in hell. Exactly. Their career could go burn in hell. We not messing with them no more. It's stupid to me.
Yeah, and
because I think also another problem. I think also another problem with that is that we don't educate people and expect them to know these things.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, if the person is usually well versed in politics or something, they should kind of know these things. However, if they're not a part of a community that usually talks about these things, they're not going to know about these things. So you have to educate them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes into how sometimes there is a cultural lag of what we see on TV and what actually happens in real life. Because like I said, people are educated through forms of media. We talk about this in every single podcast, but it's like a really big issue. So I feel like the miseducation that happens from when you consume this media and see all these stereotypes, it's political correctness is there as like a form of re-teaching people. So like I said, as like media evolves and we get all these new people with these new ideas and, you know, see how they incorporate diversity and things, I feel like political correctness is going to slowly not be as necessary, but I feel like it should be a staple in every culture, you know?
Absolutely.
Staple, but it can be very toxic sometimes, especially with like cancel culture, and especially with not fixing the miseducation, but just like beating the person up for not understanding. You have to understand people exist in boxes sometimes. People exist in boxes sometimes. If you come from a certain family, from a certain area, and you believe in certain things, like we're very stuck on labels, and people fall into those labels like that. They literally practice it. It's a doctrine. They're indoctrinated to being like conservative. They're indoctrinated to like think that way about people that are queer. So I feel like political correctness can be healthy, but you have to educate people properly too. You can't just be like, you should have never fucking said that, and like go off on Twitter. Like you have to educate. Like, what are you doing? That's not gonna do anything. A screenshot isn't gonna do anything.
Exactly. You
True.
People, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you guys believe in a political lens, political correctness is necessary?
I don't really think so. I can't really explain it. I feel like we got to explain this a little bit more in future episodes because I think we're running out of time right now. But in other words, I think political correctness should exist. I don't know why the fuck I just said that other shit, but like inform people that what you're saying very stupid, but let me inform you to make a less dumbass decision, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, so have you guys ever been saved by political correctness, like at school or anything, or saved by someone stepping in and explaining why what another student or teacher said to you was wrong?
Not really. A lot of kids that went to my school was just a bunch of dumbasses, so it was whatever.
Usually I had to advocate for myself in those situations.
Yeah. I know personally growing up in like predominantly white area, whenever I would go to like my friends' houses, there would just be like other family members there that would say something that was just very like off par, like you shouldn't be saying that. So a lot of the time, like the person's mom will step in and be like, well, you can't say that Achonti's hair is like this and this because that's how, you know, she chooses to wear her hair. Just because you don't wear your hair like that doesn't mean you should say something. Or like with the clothes I wear sometimes, that just must be a generational thing, you know.
It got
but you, like especially political correctness is especially necessary in informing people about like, you know, how people present their sexuality and I don't want to call it promiscuous, but how people choose to present themselves. So I feel like sometimes there's a lot of deep-rooted slut shaming in American culture. So I feel like whenever we have conversations about why you can't just throw the word, like just stamp, like slut shame people or like stamp them with the word slut because people choose to present themselves in different ways. And sometimes it can be, like, it's definitely something we have to talk about later. Because I was about to go off and like talk a novel on the screen.
Go off on your next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Any final thoughts, my friends?
You chose some good topics, Kristen.
Yep.
Thank you.
Kristen, you did a great job. Any final thoughts from you?
No.
None? All right, y'all. That wraps up our third episode of the 1025 podcast. I'm Jordan along with Achonti and Kristen, and we will see you next time. Peace.
All right. Bye.